You know, when you're mindlessly scrolling and suddenly you see a quiz like, "What's your spirit animal?" or "Which city should you actually live in?" Yeah, we've all been there. We've all clicked. But what feels like just a fun little distraction is actually one of the most powerful marketing strategies out there. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on quiz marketing and show you exactly how it turns those casual clicks into loyal customers. Okay, here's the game plan. We're going to start with the psychology, why our brains are just so wired to love these things. Then we'll get practical and look at a real-world quiz builder. From there, we'll dive into the magic of AI, see how quizzes are a total superpower for e-commerce, and then zoom out to compare the top tools on the market. And finally, we'll wrap up with the all-important rules of the road so you can do this the right way. All right, so first things first, to really get why the strategy works so well, we have to get inside our own heads a little bit. Why on earth are quizzes so irresistible? Well, it all comes down to some really fundamental human psychology. I mean, really think about it. You see a quiz and it's almost a reflex to click, right? There's this undeniable pull to just find out the answer. So what is the secret sauce here? What's going on? Well, this slide gets right to the heart of it. It's not just about fun and games. Get this, a staggering 90% of consumers would rather have a great experience than just a lower price. And 70% actually enjoy game-like elements when they're shopping. Quizzes, they nail both of those things perfectly, giving you an experience that's way more engaging than just browsing a website. And this all leads us to this really cool concept, gamification marketing. It's all about taking those fun, competitive elements we love in games and applying them to stuff like business. Quizzes are the perfect example of this in action. They tap into our natural desire to play, to compete, and, of course, to discover something new about ourselves. And this slide, wow, this breaks down the why beautifully. Quizzes tap into at least 5 of our core human drives. You've got epic meaning, that feeling that this quiz is all about you, your personality, your destiny. Then there's that little dopamine hit you get from achievement, just for finishing it. Social influence is huge, right? You get a result like you're a maverick leader and you just have to share it. Unpredictability and curiosity is the engine that makes you click next. And finally, loss avoidance. That's that little bit of FOMO, that fear of missing out, if you scroll past and never find out what kind of pizza you are. Okay, so we've got the psychology down. Super interesting stuff. But how does this actually translate into a marketing strategy? Let's look at the tech that makes it all happen. We're going to use a tool called Quizify as our case study to really see how these things get built. And you know, there's no better way to see the value of a tool than hearing from a real user. This person was literally on the verge of giving up after spending hours battling complicated software. Then they found a tool that was not only easy, but also had all the power they needed. It just goes to show, having the right software is a total game changer. So what are we talking about with a modern quiz builder? It's way more than a simple form. We're talking about easy drag-and-drop editors, no coding required. You get full control over the look and feel to match your brand. And they have these incredibly powerful features like logic jumps. That's where the quiz actually adapts and shows different questions based on your answers, creating a unique path for every single person. And most importantly, they're built to capture leads and connect with all the other marketing tools you're probably already using. But here's where things get really interesting. The real revolution in this space, the thing that's taking all of this to the next level, is artificial intelligence. It is completely changing the game, turning hours of tedious work into just a few minutes. Seriously. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the old way, manually writing every single question, agonizing over the wording. It could take hours. And on the other side, the AI way. You just feed it some content, a blog post, a PDF, even a link to a YouTube video, and it instantly generates a relevant, engaging quiz for you. The time savings are just enormous. So you're probably wondering, how does it actually work? Is it magic? Well, it's not quite magic, but it's pretty darn close. The AI basically reads and understands your content. It figures out the key ideas, the main points, and then boom, it writes questions that are perfectly on topic. It saves you all that time and creative energy. Okay, this tech is cool, for sure, but where does it have the biggest impact? Let's turn our focus to e-commerce, because here, quizzes are a true superpower. They solve one of the biggest problems for online shoppers, having way too many choices. For an online store, a quiz is like having a personal shopper for every single visitor. It asks a few simple questions and then guides them right to the perfect product. This doesn't just boost sales, it also dramatically cuts down on returns because people are buying the right thing the first time. And all that data you collect from the answers, it's an absolute goldmine for your future marketing campaigns. And the best part is, this isn't some strategy that's only for giant corporations with huge budgets. As you can see from these prices, the barrier to entry is incredibly low. You can literally start for free just to test it out with really affordable plans that can grow right alongside your business. Now that we've done a deep dive on what one tool can do, let's kind of zoom out and take a look at the broader market. There are a lot of great options out there, and each one has its own unique strengths. Here's a quick cheat sheet of some of the top players. If you want to get started fast, Interact is awesome because it has a massive library of templates. If you're thinking beyond quizzes to things like calculators and polls, Outgrow is a great all-in-one platform. WooRise offers amazing value, and ShortStack is built specifically for teams who need to collaborate. The key takeaway here is to figure out your specific needs and then find the tool that's the perfect match. But a quick word of caution, it's not always a perfectly smooth ride. Especially when you're using website plugins, you can run into some real technical headaches. I'm talking about conflicts that totally break your site's design, slow loading times that frustrate your visitors, or even serious security issues if a plugin isn't kept up to date. It's just something you gotta be aware of when you're choosing your tool. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section. Using these incredibly powerful tools comes with a big responsibility to be transparent and ethical. It's all about building trust, not trying to trick your audience. So after someone takes your quiz, it's pretty common to ask for a review later on, but you have got to do it the right way. The Federal Trade Commission has really clear guidelines on this. You can't just cherry-pick your happy customers and only ask them for reviews. You can't offer a discount in exchange for a positive review, and if you do offer something for a review, you have to be upfront about it. It's all about being honest. And here's the bottom line, straight from the FTC. Trust is the most valuable currency you have online. Once you lose it by trying to manipulate reviews or being shady, it is incredibly hard to get back. The goal is to build a real community that trusts your brand, not to trick people. So there you have it. We've gone from the deep psychology of why we love quizzers to the practical tools that bring them to life, and all the way to the ethical rules that keep us on the straight and narrow. You now have a powerful framework for turning clicks into customers. The only thing left is to put it into action. Now that you understand the power of asking the right questions, what's the very first one you're going to ask your audience?